So our pan's been heating up nicely. We just, well not just, but we cooked breakfast in it this morning and fried that bacon off with the eggs. So we didn't wipe all that bacon grease out of there. I kind of gave it a little tip off and left some of it in there, but we're adding some more bacon, just the last 3 pieces that I had from that package, to get some more bacon grease in the pan, and then we'll do up our Scotch collops. Alright, so we got our bacon frying off in the skillet there. We have our collops, which really, from my understanding, collops is really just thin sliced meat. So collops could be thin sliced bacon, pork, chicken, could be anything. Any type of meat thinly sliced. So this happens to be a really thinly sliced eye of the round beef. It's good for stir fries and pan frying and the likes, which is exactly what we're doing. So I have 3 egg yolks here that we've whisked up. And probably quite a bit different than maybe we're used to today on how you would mix your ingredients, be it wet or dry. These ingredients go into the wet mix. So we have some freshly cracked black pepper, so we'll add some of that. Freshly cracked sea salt is what I like to use, but any salt I would imagine. Put some of that in there. And of course the infamous nutmeg. So we'll add some of that. So our spices go into the wet mix, and we'll just give that a mix up with our whisk. Nothing crazy, you don't need to get fancy with this. Good enough. So as soon as we get some more grease from the bacon, we'll kind of pull that off to the side, let it continue to cook. We'll dredge our collops and get them on the go. So Scotch is another term or terminology that today means something specific. Back in the day, again from my understanding, can mean multiple things. So scotching in some regards means to tenderize. So you can beat whatever food you're working with. I know where you're going with that. Stop it. Pound it out to make it tender. You can certainly score it is another technique. Lightly score it. You don't want to cut all the way through it, but you lightly score it. Then when you add your breading, or in our case, egg batter, and then we're going to put it in flour after that, it adheres to the meat better. So that's one form of scotching. But if you're familiar with scotched eggs, it also means to bread. So it can be tenderizing the meat or breading it. Scotch is the word. So it is what it is, but it's interesting. I was never a big history buff. In fact, my least favorite subject all through school, because I wasn't hip to dates and all this crap. At least when I was in school, what they taught. But when it comes to cooking, the outdoors, and things that I'm into, that type of history, when you look into it, is very interesting to me. Hence the attire. Some people don't like it, and I get it. The whole 18th century thing. It is what it is. I enjoy it, and it just allows me to try to connect and do it a little bit more, maybe how they would have in the past. Am I perfect at it? Am I a professional? No. Am I a reenactor? Certainly not. but I enjoy it. I love cooking, if you couldn't figure that out by my channel videos thus far. And this just, it brings it all home to me, you know. It's a deeper connection, if you will, to what I do. So hopefully you enjoy it, and if not, then that's fine too. Alright, so the fancy bit, bacon's cooking nicely. Definitely some grease in the pan. So let's move that to the side for the moment. We'll add some butter to the pan as well. And it's a case of taking your collops in the egg wash, in the flour, and in the pan. Just lightly floured. We don't want to overcrowd the pan either, so try to get a smaller one here. We'll just let those cook off. We'll flip them. So this is kind of a longer process. It's more like we're pan frying it now, but we're going to end up stewing it in the end. So we don't need to cook them all the way through now because the stewing process will take longer. So we're just trying to brown them off a little bit. Again, we'll flip them over, take them out, do the rest of them, and we'll go from there. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and take that bacon out. It's like perfect right now how I like it. I like soft bacon. So I'm going to take that out before it's overcooked. Our collops are nice and white, looking good. There's some residue stuck to the pan, and that's going to happen, but we're going to take those out. Set those off to the side. Do the others. So I got 3 more here. I may be shy on eggs. The skillet. Oh, I got 4 pieces left. Perfect. So we'll let those brown off a bit like we did the others, and go to the next step. Alright, so take these out for a second. These browned off nicely. I have to laugh, honestly, because like the smell in my house right now is ridiculous. So what do we do now? So typically in the period, one of the recipes calls for deglazing the pan or adding wine to it. In our case, we're going to use beer. Not too much of that. If it's not good enough to drink, it ain't good enough to cook with, right? Let me try that out. Proper beverage management. So we'll let that beer cook down just a sec. And we'll add the next step. Oh, that smells amazing too. And that next step is we're going to add some beef stock to that. So I have some dehydrated porcini mushrooms here, so we're going to get those right in so they can start hydrating, doing their thing, leaching out all those juices into the pan as well, mixed with the beer, the beef stock, the bacon fat, and all the remnants of the collops we just cooked in there. So we'll give that, a bit to incorporate together. We'll add our collops back in and stew them probably 45 minutes to an hour. And these again are very thin, but we don't want them to be tough. So we're going to stew them down for as thin as they are. I say slowly, again 45 minutes to an hour probably. So again, even with the mushrooms now, the beer, the beef broth, like the smell from that alone is incredible. I'd be all set with just tucking into that with a big roll of crusty bread, sopping up that juice and just eating that. Like, would be phenomenal. But not the point of the video. So back in with our collops. We can get them all in there now. One shot, because now we're trying to stew them down a bit. One more of that. So now again we'll just monitor the coals underneath. It's pretty hot now. Obviously the fire is going pretty well, so we can rake more out if needs be. But we're going to let that cook for 45 minutes to an hour and get that real nice and tender, and it should be good. I'll tell you what, right now it smells unbelievable. Smells so good, man. But, so we're done, so we're going to plate this up. A couple pieces anyways. Make sure we dig out some of the mushrooms. still doing its thing over there. The wife wanted to try it, so it'll be hers. So I threw a piece of bacon. I think I had 3 or 4. Only 2 made it to the end. Go figure. But we got our collops. Those mushrooms, porcini mushrooms. Are you serious? Unbelievable. So I just tasted it. I have salt and pepper here to taste. I don't really think it needs any more salt, honestly, so we'll just add a little pepper. Like such. Try this up. Those mushrooms are incredible, by the way. But the collops came out pretty good. Slicing it easy, I barely put any pressure there. Oh, lost my mushroom. Man. Piece of that bacon just goes right. Pretty good stuff. Pretty good stuff. I have to be honest, I've probably had them and didn't know it, but those porcini mushrooms, at least knowingly eating them, are phenomenal. And that gravy is just right. So the flour obviously on the collops after we fried them. Deglazed the pan with the beer, added that beef broth, and then the mushrooms. Yeah. It's a big old fat mushroom right there. Can you see that? Can you see the mushroom? Focus. Hey? Good stuff, guys. Try it out. Doesn't even have to be anything fancy. You can do it on the stove. No big deal. Unbelievable. So, appreciate you guys. Thanks for watching. Catch you on the next one.